Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shangok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at why very weak leaders are still in charge in Nazarick and nobody has rebelled against them yet. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, and also a special thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Ainz, Demiurge, Albedo, Victim, and many other beings in the Great Tomb of Nazarick are relatively weak for their position compared to what slumbers still within the rest of the guild base. This means there are much stronger beings that could actually defeat them. For example, the powerful man known as Ainz. Just kidding. But there's a being like Albedo, a power in Nazarick stronger than anyone else in the Great Tomb, stronger than Ainz, Sheltier, Albedo, and even stronger than Overlord and Touch Me. And while Ainz himself holds the title of the strongest magic caster, he only does so because Overlord and Tabula Smaragdina did not arrive in the new world of Overlord with him, because both of them would be better casters than him, and yet they would still be weaker than Touch Me, the strongest guild member. Albedo, while being the overseer of the Floor Guardians and holding the second most important position in the Sorcerer Kingdom as Prime Minister, under the Sorcerer King Ainz himself, even admitted that when Sheltier seemingly betrayed the Great Tomb and she wanted to fight Sheltier herself, Ainz asked her if she could actually defeat Sheltier, only for her to show her doubts in her ability to defeat the Blood-Red Valkyrie, because admittedly she was too weak. And it's true, Sheltier, thanks to her lance, her character build, and especially her resurrection item, was and is the strongest Floor Guardian, and would probably defeat Albedo in a life and death battle. Naturally, Sheltier would likely have defeated Ainz as well, without all of the preparations he made. Demiurge, the Floor Guardian of the 7th floor, is also not the mightiest or the strongest combatant of his own realm. He would lose in a direct fight against the Magma Slime Gurren, who, despite not being maxed level and having a level somewhere in the mid-90s, is completely designed for battle and battle alone, and would therefore defeat Demiurge, who is more of a commander and supporter. It should also be mentioned that some Floor Guardians are indeed focused on maximum combat though, such as Cocytus, who has the highest damage potential among the Floor Guardians. Among the Supreme Beings, there were also members like Lord Nishiki and Rai, who was the one among all 41 guild members who could deal the most damage per second, as his entire character build was designed for that purpose and that purpose alone. But the question arises as to why this is the case, and the answer can be found in the command structure of Nazarick. The guild members of Nazarick didn't face the problem of NPCs rebelling, or anything like that in Yggdrasil Online, and Ainz became guild master, not because he truly had command authority over others, or because he was the strongest and most able player, but because he was a good listener, mediator, and someone everyone could trust. That's how he attained his position. And generally the command structure of Nazarick is not based on the strongest, but rather what any of the 41 guild members says. And this is then considered as the absolute truth and will of the Supreme Beings, and therefore something that must be followed. And this is where every single role in the Great Tomb gets its authority from. In other words, if it is the will of the 41 Supreme Beings that Albedo oversees and commands the Floor Guardians, then it is simply so, and everyone follows Albedo's instructions and bows to her because of her rank, and because the Supreme Beings required them to do it by giving Albedo this title. because if Ainz and the others had put her in this position, she, therefore, has her rank by the will of the Supreme Beings alone. So the NPCs follow the Supreme Beings by respecting Albedo and her rank. That's also why Victim, despite being only level 35, is still a respected floor guardian, simply because the guild members of Ainz decided he should have this very position, for strategic reasons, and therefore everyone still respects Victim, despite him being weaker than some New World creatures, and weaker than most things in the Great Tomb of Nazarick. For the same reason, Albedo, the strongest being in the Great Tomb, is only an area guardian. And the same applies to the Magma Slime Gurren. Demiurge, despite his attack value being lower than that of Shizo Delta, is the leader of his own floor, even though Shizo Delta is level 46 and Demiurge is max leveled at level 100. It's all about the creators and Supreme Beings' intent behind their positions. However, there's also a conflict in the leadership structure. Ainz officially stands above everyone, and thus is technically speaking the sole ruler of the Great Tomb. Still, if let's say Tabula Smaragdina were to reappear, all NPCs created by him would follow his orders above everyone else's. And even if Ainz were to tell an NPC to attack Tabula, they wouldn't do so, simply because Tabula is one of the Supreme Beings, and thus no NPC created by another guild member would attack him, unless this NPC was created by Ainz himself, by the Supreme Being who gives the order to attack another Supreme Being, like Pandor's Actor, in which case Ainz's word would weigh more, and Pandora would attack Tabula. Conversely, if an NPC created by Tabula Smaragdina were to face Ainz, and Ainz ordered them to attack Tabula, while Tabula commanded them to attack Ainz, the NPC would follow Tabula's orders, not Ainz, even though Ainz is technically speaking the leader of the Great Tomb and outranks Tabula Smaragdina. But still, Ainz would be the one who gets attacked by Tabula Smaragdina's NPC. However, there are still 3 more exceptions to this rule. If an NPC has multiple creators, they generally wouldn't attack any of their creators on the order of another one of them. Additionally, Albedo, because she was technically created by both Ainz and Tabula, but is insanely in love with Momonga, Ainz former name, would also oppose Tabula, despite his status as her co-creator, simply because her character description heavily favors Ainz. Furthermore, even an NPC created entirely by one player alone could still be more loyal to another player than to their very own creator. Demiurge, for instance, wishes that he were even created by Ainz and is loyal to him and him alone, and only then to his actual creator. Because Albert designed Demiurge based on Ainz's character build as an undead overlord, he was inspired by Ainz and made Demiurge as a tribute to Ainz character build. Thus Albert essentially granted Demiurge during the very process of creation, through his thoughts and admiration for Ainz the permission to be more loyal to Ainz than to himself. I hope you understand what I mean. It was Albert's will that Demiurge should follow Ainz, because Albert himself designed Demiurge after Ainz's example. And with that said, now it's your turn. What do you think about the internal power structure of the Great Tomb of Nazarick and how these different loyalties work? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching and special thanks to Ada Dediada, ASK, Bad Guy Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Bisa, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Firal Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Gianna B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Alexis Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shagox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Starbiz, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.